Jimmy.
Evening,
Hey, you
everybody.
cool cats and kittens.
Welcome to the eviction night for week 12 of the All Seeing Eye 2 Double Jeopardy. We have most people here. I think only Lee is missing as Nick makes an orgasm noise while stretching.
I was stretching.
First things first, let's go over to Pete. So, Pete, you've been trying to win an HOH the whole season. Finally, you got one. First of all, how do you feel about actually getting an HOH win under your belt? And secondly, how do you think the week's gone from your perspective?
Took me long enough, but I think it was probably the best time to do so. Tried to have not too crazy of a week, but every week is crazy in this game, so you can't really avoid that. Yeah.
Fair enough. Michael, you were practically shouting at Pete to try and get him to drop in that HOH. Was it just competitive instinct kicking in, or did you actually feel that you had a need to win this week?
I mean, it's always going to be competitive with me because I'm a very competitive, physical person. So I was kind of yelling a little bit at P, and I think the point he brought up of I was already HOH. I was a HOH week 3, so to not have that kind of power for a long stretch of time, I haven't won any single comp since the
Imagine how
jury
tired
phase
I am,
began.
Michael. Imagine how tired I am.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I really wanted this, live night did a number on me both emotionally and mentally. So to have power this week would have been great. But, I'm safe, obviously. So I guess I didn't need it that bad. If maybe I should not have raised my voice, but I did.
Fair enough. So, Billy, Michael just brought up how draining the live night was. Obviously, you were one of the people, especially, that it took something out of emotionally. Do you think that level of emotional drainingness is still playing a part in this game, or was it all pushed to one side and immediately focused on a new week?
I think the word is drainage.
For me,
Thank you.
personally, I don't think any eviction is going to be more personal or more emotional than it will be for Livingston's eviction, just because that was my ride or die in this game, and everybody knew about it. So it really sucked to be sitting next to him, and I've been known to say that I'm going to get vengeance. Regardless if that means I'm here or in the jury house, I'm going to get vengeance. At the end of the day, I'm just hoping people make right decisions moving forward because I am an asset for certain people's games. I am going to be a penalty against other people's games. At this point, going to the end with your pair is obviously not a good idea because that can be looked at as a penalty. But my vote has been kind of obvious. I think we're looking at a tie tonight.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, Nick,
Yeah.
obviously this is a bit of an unusual week for you in that both you and Blake have made it perfectly clear that you've kind of been expecting to be nominated together at some point through this game. It happened this week, but then you won the power of veto. When you win and you're against Blake, what's the overriding emotion? Are you able to be happy about it?
It definitely didn't feel like a win. It felt like I was sending Blake out the door. And that fucking sucks. And like Billy said, it's probably going to tie. And Pete's made it very clear that he wants to split us up, which is in his game the right thing to do. So I can't be mad at it. But it also really fucking sucks because that's my boyfriend and I really love and care about him. And it just like Billy said, you're sitting against the one person you don't want to sit against in this game is the worst feeling in the world. And then winning a veto against that person and having to take yourself off the block to play your game, like when you know that your best friend in this game, your best friend period, is still gonna be sitting up there at the end of the day, it fucking sucks.
And I guess as a point of balance, I have to ask the same question to Blake. Obviously, you two were the final two in that veto competition. Are you able to be happy for Nick, or are you still worried that their performance may have put you in a worse position? How does it feel when you're on the other side of it?
I don't really care if it put me in a worse position. I'm really, really proud of Nick for winning the veto and taking some subs off the block because, I mean, I'm not going to dwell on the fact that they won because that's a good achievement. I'm going to the jury tonight, mama.
You're absolutely convinced that that's what's happening?
Yeah, I think it's going to tie. And I think I'm gone. I'm a goner.
Fair enough. Let's try and find out whether Cam's actually going to be able to speak to us today. Cam, obviously, you're the other person on the block, having been named as the re-nominee. How comfortable are you able to feel both A, being on the block, but B, with the fact that it's obviously a considerably more personal potential situation than other weeks have been?
I mean, honestly, just being on the block at all is very, like heart attack moment. Even like the last time I was on the block, I feel confident. I know what's going to happen. Like everybody's been saying it'll more than likely tie. More than likely, it'll fall to Pete, and Pete has made it no hidden secret that he wants Blake out. So I honestly feel safe, but at the same time, there's still that, heart-wrenching moment, like, something could change, something could turn, somebody could have not voted the way they should have, or they said they would, and I could easily be gone. And then, of course, I've also made it clear that, from day one, it was kind of me and Blake working together. It might not be the same kind of relationship as him and Nick, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want to be in this position. Like, I'm right now on the verge of tears because I could be possibly sending, my friend home. And that's never a good feeling, even if it means I get to continue on.
Fair enough. Well, I think I've spoken to all of you. Thank you especially to Cam for being both audible and coherent for once this season. At this point,
You are an asshole.
It's taken him 12 weeks to finally realise. I'm gonna go off Cam at this point.
No, it took me one eternity to realize.
I'm gonna go off camera at this point. This is your chance, whilst I count the votes and give you a couple of minutes in case you wish to change your vote, to give any shout outs and say anything you wish to say.
Shout out to Chafula.
This fucking sucks, dude.
Chahula?
Chafula.
At this point, let's just say the vote's gonna tie. It's gonna happen already. Everyone knows where my vote is. It is what it is at the end of the day. I'm not gonna lie to Blake or Cam. I did think about this very long, very hard. So it's nothing. I'd rather just tie it. I'm not gonna send one of you guys out the door by that way. I don't think a tie. Someone has been in a tie. I don't like that situation for anybody, but
I mean, it is what it is at this point. In all honesty, like, I already knew walking in that, Nick obviously was, going to vote to keep Blake no matter what. So, I mean, I tried.
Could work in the gag if Nick, literally vote out Blake.
One of our
I
friends.
can't wait for Blake to look at me and go, "Did you do that?" Just go, "Yeah, I did."
it's gonna be 3-1. I'm gonna be the one sitting in minority.
Hey, like I said, it's okay. I understand. I was the ending factor of Livingston. I've been expecting this since I said his name.
It's not that. It's the reason why. This has nothing to do with Livingston at that point. It's more the fact that
Oh, I know.
Blake had 3 HOHs and didn't nominate me one time. He could have multiple times. You had 1 HOH, you nominated me. It is what it is. I'm not, and that's the thing. Like, even though I know the vote's not going to go through the way I want it necessarily, I'm being honest because you guys know. I pretty much, like, everybody I talked to, I've talked to everybody today about it, and they they kind of sniffed out. I didn't directly say it, but this is me directly saying.
I think it kind of looks like, I think it's kind of more of like a loyalty thing than a like malicious thing.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm okay with it.
Okay, so I have counted the votes. They have been independently verified by Rhonda Tennessee. And I can reveal that by a vote of 2-2, we do indeed have a tie. Obviously, I know that all of you are expecting it. I think a lot of you seem to think you know what's about to happen. But we still have to go through the formalities. So, Pete, as the HOH, it is your responsibility to break the tie. Please give the name of the person you wish to evict from the game.
Okay, it's strictly a respect thing. I think this one person is more deserving to win than any of us. No offense to anyone, but I vote to evict Blake. Good game, Blake. Yeah, sorry.
Blake, you are the latest person to be evicted from the All-Seeing Eye. In general, I haven't been saying too much, but I want to thank you sincerely for playing this game. You have been an absolute asset to it, and I mean that with complete sincerity. Do you have any last words before we say goodbye?
Okay, I'm just gonna go down the line real quick. Cameron, I am really, really, really happy that we have gotten to reconnect on a personal level. If you asked me 5 years ago if we were gonna be as close as we are now, I would have thought that you were absolutely crazy. I have genuinely enjoyed your company and enjoyed our talks, and I'm really, really glad that I can now call you a friend. Michael, you are super, super sweet and funny, even though you tried to murder me in Whodunit, but that's okay. I hope that we can talk after this and we can build a friendship. Billy, I did not expect us to get as close as we did either. I've always known of you before this game, but I've never actually gotten to know you on a personal level. So it's been really, really nice to know that you are somebody that I can count on in and outside the game. Pete, I obviously understand the decision. It's on a game level. I have no personal feelings against it. When Lee looks back at this, if he does, Lee, in the 5 years that we've known each other, we've had an up and down relationship as well. But I am very, very glad that we are more up now than down outside this game. I love you with all of me, and I'm really, really glad that you're my friend. Last but not least, Nicholas, happy 4 months. I am really, really glad I got to play this game with you. You are one of my favorite people. You were the lightness that came to my darkness at the time, and I'm really, really glad that I get to call you my boyfriend. To production, thank you for letting me play, and send me off to the jury, mama.
Great. Thank you, Blake. And again, take care. You will decide or help decide who wins this game. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to the final 6.
I was waiting for a secret power.
Yeah, as Billy says, congratulations. You are the final 6. Well, you are 5 of the final 6. Unless I replace Lee with Jack, and nobody wants that.
You sure about that?
Yes, very sure.
So just to let you know, this week we will have a semi-live head of household tomorrow. We will have a live veto on, what day is it today? It's Tuesday today, so live veto Thursday, and the next eviction will be on Friday evening. Thank you guys for turning up. I especially thank you all for your candor, given the fact that I understand that this was probably a weirder week than most. And I will see you all back in the house chat. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
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 At the end of every week in this game, someone must be evicted. And in this case, it's Livingston. Livingston, it has been a couple hours. Yeah, actually, just basically pushing it right over the mark of about 2 hours since you were evicted. So, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Big Brother's not the game for me, but I had fun while I was out there, so.
So, you kind of have a reputation of you can't win shit. Do you think that was good or bad?
I mean, when I approach Survivor, I usually try, downplay myself and just my gameplay in Survivor just doesn't work here because in Survivor, I know I can't rely on competitions. Meanwhile, in Big Brother, you have to know that you can, pull out a comp win here or there. I tried my best. So I feel good with what I did, but I definitely feel like the lack of comp wins hurt me.
So, obviously, as mentioned, what's gotta be at least 50 times at this point, you were part of a 4-person alliance between yourself, Nick, and Billy. You were much closer with Billy than the other two because, as everyone in the house has said multiple times, you two host together very commonly. So, I believe I know your answer, but how do you feel like that affected your game?
I mean, I don't like playing games with Billy. I really don't. Usually when I go into a game, I want to play my own game. Billy wants to play his own game, but we get grouped together anyway, and it's annoying because you end up working together even when you don't want to necessarily. Billy's a lot more familiar with Big Brother than me, so I'm glad I had someone that I knew could pull a comp win when it was necessary, even though I definitely can't be relied on to do that. So I really wish that I could have played days in isolation of Billy. No offense to Billy. Billy knows how I feel. Billy feels the same way. So
yeah. And then obviously you also had a strong relationship with Nick and Blake. So do you feel like that could have, worked in your favor a bit more?
Nick, when I hosted Nick was my host favorite in the second season of my group game, and they consider that one of their favorite experiences. So, I'm pretty good friends with Nick, and the 4 of me, Nick, Blake, and Billy, I was surrounded by these people that were much bigger threats than me, and their names were always out there more, and they were able to win stuff. So I think that worked towards my favor, but I couldn't hide forever, especially when, numbers got down to it.
So before your actual eviction, Billy was talking about, I'm going 6-0. My game is over. It's over for me. And then it comes up as 3-3, and you end up going home. So, what do you think? Like, completely shifted what happened from I think what most of
Yeah.
the house expected to what actually happened.
I mean, I knew, I knew, and Billy knew. We talked about it beforehand. We knew it was tying. Certain people came and asked me if I would be mad if it tied. I think that it tying was a good thing. It was something I expected. I don't know where exactly it came from, but the fact of the matter is, I'm not sure evicting me in that tie was the best decision. But hey, Billy, my friend, is still in there kicking ass, so I can't be mad about it.
I always ask this question. Well, actually, I'll ask you this first. So, the double eviction did just occur.
Yes.
What do you think happened? If you
I don't know
want,
how big that. What?
if you want context on comps, I can tell you some context.
I don't know. I know Blake had an advantage of some sort, so I would say he probably had a decent shot at HOH. Either him or like Keaton won, because I know Keaton was probably pretty pissed when the vote didn't go his way, so he's probably working for it. One of those two got the HOH.
Well, you are correct if my computer isn't crashing. Nope, it isn't. Good. Your volume on your mic just like completely dropped.
There's like a, let me go to Skype. There's some weird call happening or something.
So.
Okay, how's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds a lot better. So, what ended up happening was Blake did win HOH, and the competition was that he had to, everyone had to write a manifesto for what they were going to do during the double, and then everyone anonymously voted on it. Blake's received a majority vote and as such won. He then nominated Keaton and Michael, as was stated on the manifesto. Billy then won a POV in a game of trivia where Z read out various different Wikipedia articles omitting the name, and you would be the first to say the name.
Yeah.
And then finally, it was Keaton and Michael in the end. It was Keaton and Pete in the end, as Billy used the POV on Michael. And Keaton was sent home in a vote of 5-0. So, was that basically to your expectations of what happened? Like, just
I mean, yeah, good week. I literally said as I was headed out the door that I hope to see Keaton in the jury house. So good week.
Well, I guess you get your wish. I'm going to ask you one more question. So you are able to designate the HOH for next week, the nominees for next week, the POV winner for next week. If the POV is even used, and what ends up happening at the end of the week, eviction-wise. What do you have happen?
I don't even know. I would like for Billy to, obviously, because he's a king, win HOH. Let's say he wins POV too, because whatever, we're just gonna be in La La Land. He puts up like Lee and Cameron, and like Cameron goes because Cameron put us up, and that's what he gets for saving Billy.
Well, thank you, Livingston. You were great to join the game. and we absolutely loved having you. Unfortunately, this is the end of your game, and as such, we are going to move you over to the jury house, where you will decide a winner at the end of this game. Thank you so much. Okay.
As again, I'm out of the game. Oh, speaking again, I'm out of the game. Jack, I think we're having a fucking redo.
So at the end of every week, someone must be evicted. Although this time there were 2 people evicted, and this time, once again, it was Keaton. Keaton.
I'm always the second penalty, never the first.
Keaton, obviously you were evicted just about 15-30 minutes ago. How are you feeling?
Well, the second it happened, once I got off call, I'll be honest, I cried. I put a lot of passion into that game, and to go out the way I did was very disheartening. But I fought like hell. I got back into the game, and eating these little fuckers. I fought like hell. I did what I needed to get as far as I could, and I made a goddamn name for myself, winning 5 competitions along the way. So I won things along the way too. So I'm overall pretty happy with how I did, not disappointed with my performance.
So, obviously, this, you are the person who was able to win a buyback, re-enter this game, but you also said multiple times that you weren't winning this game. So, I guess my main question is, why did you try and come back if you thought you didn't have a chance at winning?
So I wasn't doing it for myself. I was doing it for the person that when I saw that cast, I said, I want to go to the end with you. And we worked together hard. We gave each other information. We worked together very well. And that person's still in the game. So I got back in that game, the fight for them, and then I ended up also fighting for a second person because I became closer to them as I got back in. I fought for the people that I wanted to see win because I knew I couldn't. The way I played the game, the way I was being aggressive, I was doing it for their sake, and hopefully it works.
So you, multiple different times during this season, used whammies to your advantage. They were either played on you or you used them.
One time.
Yeah, but they were either used on you or you used them. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I don't. Wait. Question. You said you have a question. I'm gonna lean back.
Yeah. So how do you feel like you played the best game regarding the whammies?
I think the best move. I think with the 2 whammies that were used either by me or for me were used in the correct way in that state and time. I think me throwing the last whammy competition to push the punishment elsewhere was a really smart thing to do, especially retrospectively learning what the biggest power was, which was a power of veto. It ultimately nullified it because it forced Nick to use it on Blake. So retroactively, it was a really smart thing to do. And then it was kind of dumb with the glass power veto, the thing that took me off in the after the initial eliminations. I got lucky that I got to be able to play in the veto and got even more lucky that I won it. So that went as good as it could have gone, except the person that I had that went up in my place didn't go. But I think the whammies were used as effectively as they possibly could have been, and I'm happy about how they got used.
So obviously you were not the only person evicted tonight. Do you feel like the right person was evicted?
No. I said it on the second it happened. I leaned in my bed, hands over face, and I think I groaned because that was the wrong move. And hell, Billy will tell you that. He knew he should have gone. He fucking said an evict. He said he thought he was going and was saying an eviction speech on his way out. He thought he was going. I thought he was going. Michael thought he was going. I think he thought he was going. And the only reason it didn't happen is because people fought with their heart once again. And that is the thing that's been hurting everyone in this game. They're thinking with this rather than this. That's what's getting so many people screwed over. They're not realizing the best move that needs to be made. Blake and Nick realize that, and they've been using it to their advantage. I gotta say, they're playing a fucking stellar game. I think this goes out by the time it hits Final Four, so I'm just saying that because I don't think they're gonna see it until it's basically useless information.
It's by the time this gets released, it should probably be around either Final 6 or Final 5. So yeah.
At that point, the house will know exactly what to do. So I'm not worried about what I just said.
So, obviously, you had some very strong allies and people you didn't agree with, but one person in particular, Lee, you were not exactly the best of friends with.
That on their end, Lee, I think will never like me as a person because they will just follow the last thing they hear. I'm not going to say much further. You can ask me again when the recording stops because I'll give you the truth then, or you can cut it and I'll tell you. But right now I don't feel comfortable saying anymore as I'm out. The only thing I was comfortable saying was that because it's not like I didn't say that 98 fucking times. But this is a thing where I don't really want to speak much more on it. I just think it was an emotion. Again, I think it was a vote made with this rather than this.
So, from an overall game perspective, do you think you were the right choice tonight?
Oh, tonight, 100%. I should have gone the second I came back in. The fact that they let me stay as long as I did was fucking stupid. I shouldn't have made it 5 evictions, but I did. And I think that's part showing what I was able to do to stay here and my social relations with the house. So I did play enough of a game to stay here at least for a little bit. And I'm okay with that. I should have gone right back around, given my reputation, and I didn't. I'm happy I was able to fight as long as I did. So I was the right choice every round, and I knew that. But people made the wrong choice again and again, and then between the two choices, they continued to make the wrong choice. This was the only right choice made the entire journey, as far as the vote's concerned.
Well, Keaton, there's one more question, at least for me at the moment. You have the power to designate the next HOH, the next nominations, the next POV, the POV winner, and who gets evicted next week. What is your ideal next week?
Michael wins HOH, puts up Blake and Nick. Someone that is Michael wins the POV, doesn't use it, and I watch Blake come in that door, and I tell them that they fucking deserved it.
Okay. So, thank you once again, Keaton. You were crazy and chaotic, but also a pleasure to host. Unfortunately, there's no comeback. There's nothing. This is the end of your game.
I don't want to come back. I'm done. Let me stay in that house. Let me yell at those fucking idiots before I start to deal with those fucking idiots again. Let me go to the jury house and enjoy my time.
Well, yes, you are going to go to the jury house where on finale night you will vote for a winner of this game. Thank you so much. and we will see you on finale night. At the end of every week, someone unfortunately must be evicted. And this week it was Blake. Blake, it has been a couple days since you have been evicted. At the exact same time, Surviving 1984 is finishing up. So how are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. I am proud of the way I played the game. I won a lot of competitions, and I'm proud of that. However, it does suck that I came decently close to the end, I guess. I was still a little bit away, but I was getting there, and it sucks to be cut short. But I'm proud of the game I played.
Yeah, 7th is close. I know the feeling well. So
This feels so
obviously,
backwards right now.
you do have a reputation just because you are the co-host of one of the biggest orgs on this site. I'm either gonna say number 2 after T Big Brother just because it's T Big Brother. So
Yeah.
Do you think that affected your game?
I don't know, because I've played a lot of orgs on this site ever since we've started hosting, and it hasn't necessarily affected anything. However, I guess some people might feel intimidated because I might have seen a lot of the ways that these people have played the game if I've ever hosted them. So I guess that could kind of intimidate some people to know that I have that insight on how certain people can play. However, this season, I don't know if it really did have an effect on anything, especially since, there were people from Discord, there were people from this site, that site, and everywhere. So I was really, really excited to get to play with some new people who necessarily don't know that other side of me hosting-wise.
So that was the more hidden part of your gameplay, but let's talk about the giant elephant in the room. You walked into this game with a boyfriend. Nick had always supported you, and you two obviously cared for each other throughout the game. Do you think they might have accidentally influenced your game positively or negatively, like just perception wise, and same way in the other direction?
I think that we definitely influenced each other game wise throughout this game, because sometimes one of us would be thinking emotionally in the moment and the other kind of cooled the one person down. So I think it was very good for us both to be in the game, because both of us were trying to help each other make the rational decisions, even though we don't want to make those rational decisions in the heat of the moment sometimes. But sometimes you have to set those emotions aside and do what's best game-wise. And that's why you didn't see me put up Lee during the double eviction. If I was thinking emotionally, I would have put up Lee. And I would have put up Pete. But I decided to think rationally, and that's why I needed Keaton out at that point in time. So yeah, I would say that both of us being in this game definitely helped one another, because we helped kind of keep each other like
Grounded.
stable, I guess. Yeah, grounded.
So obviously, throughout the game, various twists came up, whammies, the wall, all of that, and you were very, very involved with that. Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it, very involved. So if you were able to play the season back and just do it all over again, would you have gone for the wall?
I don't think I would have went for the wall, because obviously in hindsight it wasn't a very smart decision, because I definitely thought that having to sit out of the next veto competition that I was drawn for or eligible to play was definitely going to be the end of my game, because I knew that I still was a part of this quote unquote duo and relationship. And now I was a part of this big 4-person group of Livingston, Billy, myself, and Nick. So I was like, I know I have this giant target on my back on top of the competition wins. People would be looking at me over Billy or Livingston or even Nick. So I knew I was definitely in trouble after I got that wall punishment. However, I didn't let that stop me from playing the game that I wanted to play. And I obviously overcame that and I got through that. However, I I did end up getting evicted, so I didn't do something right. I also really, really tried to tell Nick not to take from that wall, because I just knew that they were going to draw something for the HOH, and that's what happened. They drew a punishment for the HOH, and I wish they wouldn't have taken from the wall. And I definitely learned from that my second HOH. I did not take from the wall again.
So now that everything is kind of coming to a close, there's not much wiggle room left, and Nick still has that HOH punishment, and Nick and Lee still have their, yeah, that was during your week, the penalty votes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think, obviously you want Nick to go forward in this game and win, am I wrong?
I would love to see Nick or Billy win, just because I started this game with them. I would love to see them at the end, but I'm not opposed to voting for anybody else. I am not a bitter juror. I'm not a influenced juror by who I'm friends with. Obviously, if Nick was at the end, I'd probably vote for Nick, but everybody else I think is fair game. I usually want to vote for who played the best game.
So, do you think Nick or Billy will get to the end of this game?
I think it's going to be very, very hard for them to make it to the end. However, I have faith that they can do it, because I feel like that group of 4 has overcome a lot of targets and people coming for us. So I think if we've been through all that, and a lot of us have gotten through those different stages and those different targets, I think that they can definitely somehow figure out a way for them to make it to the end.
So I'm not currently sure what you know about this week in particular, seeing how we had to delay this video just a little bit. It literally, the next eviction is within 2 hours, so I think it's 2 or 3 hours. So I asked this to everyone. You are able to decide who wins HOH, who gets nominated, who uses POV, who gets taken off by VOV, if anyone, and who gets evicted into what vote count. What would be your ideal next week?
Obviously, since Nick can't win HOH, I'd want Billy to win HOH. And to be honest, I want Lee or Pete to go. I want one of them to leave. I think that their ways of playing the game are not right sometimes. And I know that I called a lot of people out, but like, they kind of took it to a whole new level at some points. And I just don't necessarily respect that. And Pete's a major hypocrite, so I'd love to see him leave the game.
So, Billy wins, puts Lee and Pete up, maybe, and then POV winner?
I'd like for Nick or Billy to win veto, so num stay the same, but that probably didn't happen.
After the camera turns off, since this will be posted before that week, I'll tell you how much of your prediction is right. And then between Lee and Pete, since those are the 2 you want on the block at the end of the week, there are 3 votes, but Lee does have a penalty vote. what do you want the final vote count to be, and which way do you want it to lean?
I'd love for Pete to come to the jury for personal reasons, but I think game-wise, it would be smarter for them to get rid of Lee. And knowing that Lee has that extra penalty vote, I'm fairly certain that we'll be seeing Lee in the jury house if that's the final nominations.
Yeah. Well, Blake, once again, it has been great seeing you play. You can obviously host really, 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 really well, mostly because you can count. And I honestly think this won't be the last time we're gonna see you. This is the last time we're going to see you for now this season until finale night, where we'll be able to decide the winner of this game.
I can't wait.
So, thank you, Blake, and we will see you on finale night.
Thank you for letting me play.